I could actually turn the microphone on. What's up, guys? I was trying to get some last minute things done and wasn't really sure why things were not doing the things that they were supposed to be doing the things for. And now, yeah. Yeah. Gotta love it, right? All right. So this evening we're going to do something a little bit unique. And first of all, let me say I've got to fix the cards because some of them are upside down. I haven't used this deck in a very, very long time, so for some of them to be upside down is odd. But I had planned to do this with charms, and I searched for a couple hours today trying to figure out where my bone and charm kit went. I don't know. So the next best thing, we're going to use an oracle deck that is just, it's items basically. Like there's a couple of animals in here, but for the most part this is items. I'm just making sure that everything is right side up. I got this deck in fall of 2020, and I really like this deck. It's a very interesting deck. Some of y'all probably have it, but this is the full size, and this is the Witch's Oracle. This is what we're going to be using this evening. I have the second edition, so I think, or this one is the second edition. I do have one that is a bit newer, and it does seem to be a little bit different, but I will be using the second edition of the Witch's Oracle this evening. I love the backs of them. Like, and they're just really gorgeous cards. So what we're doing tonight is, we're going to be doing the Witch's Oracle, which is, or the Witch's Lost and Found. And let me say right off the bat, like, this is not to find a missing object. This is not to find a missing person. I will not even, I will just send your money back to you, right? But this is for you, right? We're coming to the end of this eclipse, or this eclipse window. And this has been such, I keep mentioning it every live stream because I kind of want you guys to feel like you're not alone. It has been such a hardcore look at everything about you, about your life, your path, everything. This whole entire year has been very, very heavy with a lot of astrological aspects, with a lot of conjunctions, a lot of eclipses, a lot, like, it's just, it feels like it is something every other fucking week. Big massive things, right? Not just, oh, it's a full moon, oh, it's a new moon, oh, it's this or this. It feels like it's something constantly. And so I designed this particular event to help y'all find a missing part of you. What did you actually lose? What's gone? What do you need to get back? And there are two different tickets for this event. One is super fucking cheap, right? It's basically just a clue. I will draw this for you. I will hold it up. I will give you a little bit of an overview about what this item is. And then it's up to you to fall down the rabbit hole with the spiritual meaning of it, with all the things. It is not for me to give you a full, massive, complete read. The other one is a little bit more, and it is me drawing a couple of these things for you and us talking about A, what you lost, and B, where you need to go to find it. On the bigger ones, there are a limited number of those available. So if you guys have not gotten on the list yet, you need to do so. And then I do have everything up on my link tree. If you haven't gotten on the list for the eclipse working that's going on Thursday, you might do that. There's also a unique type of sigil that I'll be doing this week on Friday. It is a type of numerology sigil, and I'm so fucking stoked to do these. These are all going to be done digitally. I have a program on my computer that's going to allow me to do them digitally, so that way I can, show them to you. but I'm not going to show them in big detail because I am not going to show the numbers in the low shoe numerology chart because those are private. They tell a lot about a person, and we all know that bitches be fucking bitches, right? But you will get all of this screenshotted and sent to you. And I think, if I remember correctly, there's an option for you to have a full numerology report with the low shoe sigil and so on. I had mine pulled a long time ago, and then with the new numerology software that I just got, I pulled mine again the other day, forwarded it to now. I was like, what the fuck? Like, it just, I don't know. I just love shit like that where you're looking at it and you're like, it's just really cool. So we're going to create some sigils with those. They won't be the super straight mechanical ones either. They will absolutely be Bodhi style sigils, okay? But that is what's going on. And I do want to say this as well. There is absolutely no tolerance for anything this evening or in any live stream. If you guys are new to watching me, there's only a few things that you need to know. One, don't be a creep or a jerk. Even jerks don't like jerks. Creeps don't like creeps. So just don't do it. Second, don't come in here and co-read, okay? Do not come in here and say, oh, well, or it could be this or this. Bitch, no, you will get muted immediately. I don't tolerate it. My mods are under strict rules not to tolerate it because what you're saying is that you know more than I do. I've been reading professionally for over 13 years at this point. I think I probably know what I'm doing. I don't need help. The other thing is, don't come in here and promote yourself. That is an instant way to block town, okay? Instant ride to muted, get muted. It's, I don't do that to y'all. I've never done it to anybody. In fact, I'm very careful when I go into other people's live streams because I never want to take the focus off of that person's live stream. And I don't do it to you. Don't do it to me. I will say, though, if I catch people continuing to do it to me, you better bet your fucking ass I'm going to start doing it to other people and see how it feels. The next thing is, just be cool, man. Like, right now, we're not going to talk politics in here at all, even though I want to. We're not going to talk politics in here. That's not what this is for. We can worry about that on other times of our day because it seems to be bombarding us constantly. So we do not talk about that. We also do not talk about other creators and stuff in here. For those of you guys that have been following me for a long time, then you know that I don't care. I don't do the drama. If I cut somebody off, I cut somebody off, man. Like, I don't give a shit, right? Like, I actually, to be honest, have been distancing myself from a lot of witch talk. I still have some friends, right? I still have some mutuals and stuff that I adore and I see all the time and I talk to and stuff like that. But, I can't and I don't want to. I can't and I don't want to. The whole of it is so fucking toxic. And all it is fucking middle school and stupidity and telling people to do dumb shit. And then I just don't want to. I don't want to. I do this for a living. I do magic for a living. This is my livelihood. I love it. I'm very good at it. And I don't have time for that shit, right? I don't. So, that being said, oh, the last thing I want to say before we get into these reads and so on, I have one hair that keeps, like, right here beside my nose. One. The other thing I'm going to say is this. Some of you guys are noticing that you're getting several things from me at once. I am going through and closing out a bunch of events, reports, organizing my computer where shit is everywhere. And so several of you guys, I know just today, several of you guys got an email with like 3-4 things at once, right? I am finding where there was a lot of things that were not sent. And I'm just going to leave that statement at what it is. From November, December, January, February, there were a lot of things that were done and not sent. I am trying to make sure that all of those get to you. Okay, so that way I know what's missing. But, just saying what I'm saying. There was something else and it went like that. It went like that. So it is what it is. I see a lot of y'all in the comments asking about Dolly Parton, and I busted out my favorite mug, my blonde ambition mug for this evening. So I love this thing because that is a mega pint of coffee right there. But yeah, I busted out the Dolly Parton mug. I was on the phone with Sass this morning, and she was, all of a sudden she was like, no. She was like, oh no. She was like, Dolly Parton died. I'm like, shut the fuck up. That's not funny. She was like, no. And then we had to get off the phone, and I looked it up, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? What the actual hell fuck? Like, I don't like this year even more right now, right? So there you go. There is my Dolly tribute. My blonde ambition mug, because it's an epic mug. I've had it for a while. I got it at a place in Tulsa called Ida Red. Yeah, so I don't know. I think the reason, Sass and I talked about this a little bit today, and I gave it a lot of thought, like, and I talked to my sister about it. My sister is a big Dolly fan, and she's super, super upset. I think the reason that everybody has been so upset over this is because that woman was not just a country singer. That woman was not just an actress. That woman was not just a business owner, entrepreneur, whatever. She had no qualms with being who she was, and she had no qualms with telling people how she felt and putting it out there. One of my favorite interviews with her, I think, is from the late 70s or early 80s. I can't remember. But she talks about how when she was a kid, she saw this woman when she was in town shopping with her mom, and she had all the makeup on and the lipstick and, all the stuff. And her mom started running the lady down, saying, oh, she's just a tramp. And Dolly said, I thought she was the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen, and she was like, that's what I want to be when I grow up, and I absolutely just adored that, right? But I think that a lot of the reason too is that she stood up for everybody, not just one particular group. She stood up for everybody. And I think the world has been missing that so much, and I think that's why she was so absolutely beloved, because if it was wrong, it was wrong, and she was going to tell you it was wrong, Plus, how do you learn to play the guitar with fingernails like that? Like, I've been trying, I still can't do it. So, like, that's like, you know what I mean? Like, so, y'all, it's so funny. People, I see people in the comments saying it's the first celebrity they've cried over and blah blah blah. Man, I cried over Tom Petty. Man, I cried over David Bowie. I definitely cried over Freddie Mercury. I cried over Michael Jackson. I like all kinds of different stuff, right? Like, there's been a lot of people, celebrities that have passed that I cried about. And here's the thing. They're people, right? Just because someone's on a screen, just because you see their music videos, just because you go watch them in concert, just because whatever, they're people. They're a people, right? They're a person. They're a person. And, they have family, they have friends, they have, kids sometimes, whatever. They're a person. They're just a fucking person, just like you, just like me. And I know this is one thing that I really and truly hate. I'm going to get on the soapbox for a minute, and then we're going to do the thing. This is one thing I truly, truly hate. And here's the thing. Let me say this. Let me preempt this with this. I used to be one of these people, right? I absolutely used to be one of these people that whenever somebody would get mad and hit one of the paparazzi, or somebody would get mad at them for taking pictures or whatever, I'd be like, well, you chose that life. You chose that life. You chose to do this. You chose to do that. You can choose to be famous and still not be famous, right? You can choose to be an actor and still not be famous. Do you know, I know so many actors and actresses that drive Lyft and Uber. Let that sink in. People that you know, people that you love, people that you've seen in some of your favorite movies, they drive fucking Uber to make ends meet. They don't all live in some big, huge mansion up in the hills surrounded by security guards. They don't. They don't. And one of the things about, I never set out to be on a big person on TikTok. I didn't, right? And some of you guys, if you followed me, have heard this story. I didn't. Like I was doing the witchy shit before this, right? I didn't set out to be some big TikToker. I didn't. I had no fucking idea what TikTok was until early 2020. And during the shutdown, just like y'all, I lost all of my time to fucking scrolling, right? I made a couple of funny videos. And then I made a video about a lady who insisted that we teach her 9-year-old daughter how to astral travel. And I made like a parody of that, right? And that blew up. And like overnight, I had almost 10,000 followers. And I was like, I don't know what just happened. I don't know what just happened, right? So I never set out to be some big famous creator, right? I've learned a lot. I have learned a lot in the last 6 years. A lot. I no longer am one of those people that say, oh, you chose that life. If you didn't want to be famous, then you shouldn't have tried to become an actor or blah, blah, blah. There's a difference in going to become, wanting to become an actor, wanting to become a creator, wanting to be famous or whatever, and the reality of it. There's a huge difference. There is a huge, huge difference. Because you suddenly have no privacy. No privacy. You have people that demand stuff of you that is inhuman. Like there's no way a human being could do those things, but they're demanding it of you. There are people that feel like if they pay for your time, then they have access to you 24/7, like 365. There are people that they get into a relationship with you over their phone, over their TV, over whatever. It's actually called, I had to learn what it was. It's called a parasocial relationship. And when I learned what it was, because of some really intense, weird ass stalking incidents, since 2020, since my TikTok started blowing up, I've had 7 stalkers at this point. 7! And only 3 of them were dudes. And the dudes I wasn't as worried about as the chicks. Y'all, chicks be fucking crazy. Y'all, I'm just saying, okay? I had to learn what a parasocial relationship was. There's a difference in caring about a creator because we're on your phone constantly. You can pull up and see all kinds of like personal shit of anybody that's out there. Y'all have noticed I'm kind of backing off of that, right? For reasons, because people ruined it for everybody. But there's a line between caring about somebody, like, oh, I haven't seen so-and-so's videos, like, I hope they're okay, or seeing that somebody is ill or sick or whatever and going to check on them, like, I haven't seen them in a while. Like, there's a difference in that and actually thinking that you're in a relationship with this person or thinking whatever. And I know some of you guys are like, what in the fuck? And then when they realize that they are not in a relationship with you, or that like there's no way I could ever reach out to every one of my followers personally and have a friendship like talking to you on a daily basis. There's no way. Even at 1,000 followers, there's no physical way that you could have a relationship with 1,000 people where on a daily basis you are talking to every one of them constantly about their life and still have a job. Like there's no way. It is physically impossible. So whenever that person realizes that that is not the relationship they thought it was, they flip out. And sometimes the flip out is a little dangerous. Like it is. I have met a ton of creators, some smaller than me, some bigger than me, etc., some the same size, whatever, that have all the similar stories. And I think that probably, this is my prediction, probably within the next 5 years, there will be a term coined by psychologists or somebody about what happens to a social media creator when they have so many things happen. It's almost a form of PTSD, but it's weird. I don't know. So I'm just saying, Um, yeah, yeah. I still get a lot of gifts. And I love you guys. I cherish. Squirrely said Bodhi used to get so many gifts she couldn't even open them all at one time on a live. First of all, I had to quit opening them on live streams for two reasons. One, TikTok started telling me I was promoting products. Bitch, it's a gift. It's a handmade gift. How am I promoting a handmade thing that somebody literally made me? How am I promoting that? So I had to quit doing it. And the other thing too, I actually had people get upset that I couldn't open their particular box on a live stream, or on a video. And there there have been things that I have been sent that there is no way in hell I would have opened on a live stream, because it would have gotten me in trouble, would have gotten me banned. I've had threatening gifts sent to my house. I have one sitting right over there. I have it staring at me, so I remember. I have had people send gifts to my house. They either followed me or whatever, got my home address, and sent threatening gifts to my house. I've had people send groceries to my house, and I know it was just out of love and helping, like if I was sick or there was a time when I had to have a tooth pulled and stuff. I understand that. I really and truly do. But at the same time, that's crossing the line a little bit, and it's a little bit creepy, right? I've had people send stuff to my house for my kids. First of all, I have a mailing address. You don't ever need to send anything to my house, right? It gets really, really creepy really quickly. And so with some of the gifts, like it got to the point where people would get upset, like I was slighting them personally by not opening their boxes on live streams or in a video, and I had to stop doing it. I had to stop doing it, because it wasn't just one person ruined it for everybody. It was a lot of people. I still get comments now or messages to the website that I still get comments sent to the website asking why I'm ignoring somebody on a live stream. I still get comments thinking that I'm mad at them because I didn't read their comment. And I'm like, it's Monday night. Have y'all seen how fast the comments go on Reiki nights? Have y'all seen how fast the comments go? Like, they're like that. There's no way. I speed read and I catch the majority. There's no way. And there's no way that I could stop and address everybody personally. And do I feel bad? Absolutely. It makes me actually feel bad, like, oh God, I don't ever want anybody to think I'm ignoring them. But at the same time, if I'm in the middle of a reading someone paid me for, if I'm doing Reiki, if I'm teaching a class, I'm not going to stop and be like, oh, okay, hang on, like, oh, hey, so-and-so, like, oh my God, I'm so glad that you commented, oh my God, and have a conversation with just you. Like, it's just craziness. It's just craziness. And it's why I have stopped posting a lot of personal content. It's why I have stopped posting a lot of personal pictures. And those things have gone to like subscriber only. Not that people couldn't subscribe to get access to those, but there's still not as much. Like there's a lot of really cool behind the scenes footage that's on its way, but so y'all keep in mind that people are just people. I got on that tangent because we were talking about Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton was a person, right? I mean, she was an icon, absolutely. She was a legend, absolutely. She also was a person, right? She also was a person. And I don't know. I guess I have seen my share of crazy, both with me and with friends that I have in the music industry or the entertainment industry or whatever. I have seen my share of crazy. And so y'all keep in mind that they're just people. And if it made you sad that she passed away, then you should grieve that. Don't feel bad about grieving that. Don't feel bad about grieving a celebrity that maybe you loved this movie or you loved this song or they had a video that really touched you when you needed it or whatever. Don't ever be sad about grieving somebody that made an impact on your life. Like, don't ever be sad about that. Don't ever feel weird like, oh, well, I can't be upset because this celebrity passed away or whatever. Like, don't ever let somebody tell you you can't be upset that a human being passed away. Like, don't ever let somebody tell you that. So I'm just saying, like, it makes me sad that we live in a world where people feel like they can't come out and say, I'm really sad that so and so passed away. That's sad. Like, if you really think about it, that's sad. Just saying. Just saying. It's sad if you really think about it. So yeah. You miss the plants, you miss the I don't have as many plants anymore. I don't. When I finally get landed somewhere, then we're gonna have all the plants. Then we're gonna have all the planty plants. So what Rhonda is talking about is I used to, all my plants have names and they used to have backstories, right? I'm still looking for another fang plant. I am still looking for another fang plant. But yeah, they had backstories. They had names. I had a fang plant that I got at Lowe's. Which, if you guys don't know what a fang plant is, it's like a lamb's ear, but they're really thick and they have big leaves. And on the bottom of the leaves, they have fangs that hang down, like they're soft. But that was Hank. And Hank's backstory was that he had been in high school for 4 years. He was the star quarterback for 4 years, and now he was selling himself at Lowe's. And Eleanor, my elephant ear, it was Hank's sponsor. And then there was a time when I left Hank in a place where water was draining into his pot, and I drowned him on accident. He was okay, but I made the story that, like, Eleanor's ex Ned did that, you know, like, yeah, they all had they all had backstories. And y'all, I've been a writer, like, since I've literally been a published author since 1996. Yeah. But yeah, I have been looking for a fucking fang plant ever since. I lost Hank. It was a few months after the water incident with Ned, but I found out. I don't remember what it was. There's something specific about those plants, like they're supposed to not live every year, but I kept Hank alive for a hot minute. Like, yeah, Hank lived longer than he needed to be, but yeah. So I've got to find another one. I just saw that comment, the young and the planted. That was funny shit right there. Yeah. So if any of y'all ever come across a fang plant, I don't know how you get it to me, because I don't think they do well in the mail. But yeah, I've got ivies all over. I've got big snake plants all over. I have all kinds of crazy plants all over my bathroom. I have 2 gold star ferns in the bathroom, or blue star ferns. I can't remember what they are. Blue star ferns. They have these weird bumpy things under the leaves. I have tons of plants outside. Like, yeah, they're really cool. They look like lamb's ears. If y'all know what a lamb's ear plant is, they're super fucking soft, right? But fang plants, the leaves are like this big, and they kind of curve, but they're huge. And on the bottom, they're only about like that big, but they're these little teeth. So yeah. All right, let's get to it. I've been flapping my gums for 30 minutes now. I've been flapping my face. Yeah. Do you guys really want me to start doing just plant videos again? I really loved doing them. I'm not gonna lie. I still have, for those of you guys that have been following me for a long time, I still have Bonnie and Clyde. They're outside enjoying the heat because they're tropical plants. So they're fucking eating this up. They did have some babies. So I've got baby Bonnie and Clydes. They don't have names yet. They're still in the nursery. They are, what the fuck are they called? I used to know the actual name of them. They're like money trees. I don't know, but they have these crazy. It's usually like 7 or 8 pattern leaf. They're really cool, but they get humongous. Then I have Harry. Harry is this weird ass tropical plant I got on accident. It's one of those that I was like, oh, you look cool. And then I went and checked out because I had a lot of plants, and I was like, why the fuck was my bill so high? He was $70 fucking. That's why. He's weird. He's weird. Like randomly, all of his leaves will croak, and then I'm like, oh my god, like I lost this plant, and then there's more. I don't know. He's crazy. I have a ton of cactuses. I have a ton of Christmas cactuses, Thanksgiving cactuses. Y'all gotta see my old man cactus. Hang on, because I'm proud of him. I'm fixing to have to all right, I was unpacking stuff in my bathroom, but that is my old man cactus. Ignore the big box right there. But this one's a snow white. It's a type of prickly pear, and it's a snow white, and he's furry. He's furry. And I love him. And I love him. But I've got to propagate him because he has a ton of babies. So I'm about to have way too many cacti. Yeah, I have some really weird plants. Some of y'all remember earlier this year I had to split some plants and we named them all. I have Sharon and Ozzy. They're still in my bedroom. I have the Three's Company gang. They're still in there in the window. Like, yeah. Yeah, they all have personalities. My old man cactus I got him early last summer. And he was pretty good size when I got him last summer, but I moved him this year. Well, when I moved into this house last October, I moved him in the bathroom in there because obviously it was cold and he couldn't go outside. Dude, he loves the bathroom. I guess because it's warm, it's humid in there. Like he fucking loves the bathroom, man. He has gone crazy. And then I found out that they're decently cold tolerant in Oklahoma. I would have to cover, like if I were to plant him outside, I would never do that though because I get really attached to my plants. But they can go down to like 25 degrees, and then anything below that you have to cover them really good. But they can get up to like 5 feet fucking tall, 4 feet wide and 5 feet tall. That's insane. And they're furry, and I love it. Like they're not cuddly. You can't hug them. They have little things in the fur that'll get in your skin, but still, yeah. But yeah. Alrighty. Let me actually get on my list because otherwise we're just gonna talk, and then yeah. So we can't do that. So we can't do that. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure. All right. All the things going off. All right. So I have Elizabeth first on my list, and I have you for one of each. I have a clue, and then I also have the search. Okay. Funny you had to come out right off the bat. All right. We're going to do the search first, and then we're going to do the clue last because I'm going to treat the clue like it is some separate thing, okay? For the search, you have the salamander, which is a fire card. And then you have the Chinese dragon. And I find it interesting that you have both of these. And it's funny, the saying that my grandpa used to say something really funny. He used to say a lot of shit that was funny, but he used to say, drop your luck and picked up a gold mine. The salamander is a very interesting thing. When I found out that salamanders are representative of fire, I was like, they literally have to have water to survive. Like, what the fuck? But they are. They're fire element. But salamanders are. If y'all have ever been around one, we used to have them as kids all over the place. I haven't seen one in a long time, but they can regenerate in weird ways, right? They're kind of slimy. They're kind of weird. I got this weird big mouth. They look like Toothless the dragon without the wings. Like, they're really cool. But the fact that you have the salamander and then the dragon next to it, notice the colors. Notice that it's reds and oranges and yellows and deep, deep, deep warm colors. Girl, you lost your power. You literally lost your power. You lost your fire. You lost your drive. You lost your power. And I think that with the salamander representing this, you have been looking to regenerate your personal power and your drive and your fire in the exact same way that you used to do it. And that's not going to work for you anymore. It's not. If the salamander were to need to regenerate something, a toe or whatever, if it needed to do something for propelling itself forward, it wouldn't do it in the exact same way as when it was born. And if you think about starfish, whenever they go to regenerate, they might end up, if they have one leg that's missing, they might regenerate 3 in that same spot, or 2, or one little weird one. It's never the exact same thing that just got regenerated. So if you're trying to figure out how you're going to regenerate that same exact power that you had in the same exact way, it's not going to work. And I think that is exactly what's been missing. I think that is the bridge between the clue of you losing your personal power and the fixture of it, of how do I fix it, is that you can't fix it in the same exact way as how it was born. Are you the exact same person as when you were born? Are you the exact same person when you were 2, 5, 10, 15? Are you the exact same child? No. Your body, let's just talk science. Your body has already regenerated itself so many times. Your stomach has regenerated itself. You don't eat the same, basically. Your skin has regenerated itself several times over. So you're not even the same out here, right? And in my Bodhiverse episode from last week, I brought up something called, it's a philosophical exercise, the ship of Theseus. And basically it says there's a ship and it is used for whatever ships are used for, right? And over the course of this ship's life, every board on this ship eventually has to be replaced, right? So let's say 50 years go by and there is not one single board on this ship that is the same as the original boards on the original ship. So is it still the same ship? If there is not one single board that is still the same, is it still the same ship? And you can argue either way. And I had some people duet that video and stitch it and so on, and they missed the entire point. It's a philosophical argument. And the same thing goes for you. You can't regenerate the power in exactly the same way as you had it. You're wanting to become this. This is the end goal, right? You want to become that all-powerful dragon. You want to become that magical being, that magical beast that has all the power. But you can't do that if you're still trying to be the salamander. Does that make sense? My advice is going to be to research what the salamander means spiritually, and what part of you that represents that is no longer a part of you, and then what and this specifically is the Chinese dragon. What does this represent spiritually? What does it represent to you? What does red represent versus yellow? What is red and black versus red and yellow? Ready for the clue? And this is the one that you get to research. And I'm so glad that we did it this way, because This absolutely, I will be willing to bet that this is also part of the puzzle for here. The toad. Of course it is. Of course it is. Notice that the toad is... Thank you, Steelers Nation. I appreciate you so much over there. Thank you guys for all the gifts and the love and the likes and the comments. Y'all have no idea how much it means to me. It really and truly does. The toad is, notice that there's 3 stars above it. Just 3. For some reason, this particular toad hangs out in grassland, nowhere near water. I've always had that problem with this card, like, in nowhere is that where you would find a toad, but okay. But the number 3 is a very big thing on this card. This is one of the few cards in this deck that actually has a numerical correspondence with it. So the toad and the number 3 are your clue for moving forward. Okay? All right, let's see. So abrasive. So abrasive. Jennifer K is next. I'm going to put this over here. There we are. Some bitch. There we are. I have you for the search as well. Maybe the pond is behind the camera. I mean, it could be. I love your eternal optimism. All right, you ready, Jennifer? You have the familiar, which is the black cat with the big old gold eyes sitting on a skull with a starry night. And then you have the witch's cradle. Witch's circle, excuse me. Absolutely love this. And this is something you guys all use without realizing you use it. This is an innate magic that everybody uses without realizing you use it. So, my friend, why is that doing what it's doing? All right then. Jennifer, you've been searching for a companion. You've been searching for something, someone comfortable to help you continue to move forward. And the problem with that, when you're looking for a familiar constantly, you don't realize that sometimes the familiar doesn't need to be found. And I said it that way on purpose. I'm not going to say that you need to be okay being with you. I'm not going to say that you need to be okay just building your own self and going forward. Because some people crave being connected to someone or something really deeply. I love having animals. I do. I love old mean-ass cat back there. I love my 2 little old men. One of them over here with his face all smashed in the blanket snoring. Like, I love my little tiny dogs, right? I do. I absolutely love them. I love having animals around. People, maybe not so much sometimes, you know? And you gotta share, shit. But here's the thing. A familiar to a witch, by the way, don't think that it's lost on me that both of these are very witchy. Very, very witchy, right? I mean, obviously it's a witch's oracle, but you know, y'all smell what I'm smoking. A familiar is something very, very intense to a witch. You have been searching for this intensity with yourself, with your magic, with a companion, etc. And you feel like you've been spinning your wheels everywhere. You feel like you've lost some aspect of your connection that you used to feel. So you've been searching really hard to try to find that connection again, try to get back in it and just really try to do it. and it hasn't been working. You feel like the more you search, the more time, the more effort you put into this search right here, you're not getting the return that you need, that you want. Let's say that you want. So here is the key to it. I'm just going to hold this up. I'm going to try to get the glare off of it. This is the witch's circle. The elements, the directions, the full circle. I'm going to say it this way. You need to stand, just physically do this. Stand up today, tomorrow, whenever. Face whatever direction you need to face. Okay? You know. If y'all don't know what each direction means, north, south, east, and west, that is your homework with this live stream. Okay? Face whichever direction you feel you need to face. And then I want you to turn and face the next direction, and the next direction, and the next direction, until you come all the way back full circle. Every time you move and you're facing a direction, I want you to think about that, right? The east is new beginnings. The west is ancestors. I want you to think about those different things and what they mean to you in that moment. And then as soon as you turn back, let's say you started to the north, you get all the way around, you go right back to the north. As soon as you get right back to the north, what is the very first thing that pops in your mind? If you were to come full circle from where you started on your spiritual journey, not just your witchy journey, but your spiritual journey. If you were to come full circle, what is the very first thing that you fell down the rabbit hole with? What was the very first thing? It could literally have been a book when you were a kid. It could have been a movie. It could have been a song. It's something. What was the very first thing on your spiritual journey that you got attached to? Sweetheart, that is your familiar. Y'all are going to have homework with these. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. I'm just saying what I'm saying. Make sure I'm putting that right side up. I want to put it there. Erica's next. I have not read with these cards in years. I kid you not. They've let me know it too. They have let me know it too. Let me not run over that one. Okay. I'm going to read it the way it fell because it fell on the floor. This is the Book of Shadows. This is the Book of Shadows. What part of you was lost? Girl, when I tell you this, you're going to say, wait, what? Okay? You didn't lose a book. You didn't lose knowledge. You literally lost your shadow self. You pulled a Peter Pan. You lost your shadow. And I want you to think about this. Did you actually lose your shadow, or did you give it to somebody to hold? Because what fell out is the bat upside down. There are 4 stars on this. In other words, it can't get back to you. Not on its own. Just like in Peter Pan, when Wendy has to sew Peter's shadow back onto him. you know, it was kept in well, depending on if you read the book or watched the movie or whatever, his shadow was kept in a drawer or in a little lockbox or whatever. If you lose your shadow self, and I know some of you guys are like, wait, how do you lose your shadow self? You can. How many times have you given a part of you to somebody else for safekeeping? You probably did it and don't realize you did it. When you tell somebody a really deep traumatic experience and they say something like this, well, I'm here, so you'll never have to experience that again. I'm here, I'll protect you. And they mean those words in the moment, right? But how many of you have found that those words turned into something more? And in that moment, when someone says, hey, I see you, I'm here, I won't ever let that happen to you again, you immediately kind of have this little like, right? You immediately have this little woo-saw breath. You immediately give them a little bit of you to hold because they just offered to be that protector. So yes, you can absolutely give part of your shadow or your entire shadow away for someone else to hold. And here's the thing, sometimes it happens when we get too attached to a therapist. We get too attached to I don't know, a doctor, anybody like that. That is the person you tell the deepest, darkest shit to. And you end up putting your shadow over on them. So, who did you give your shadow to, Erica? Because it can't get back on its own. Either you have to cut that tie, or you need to actively open up the road to let that shadow be able to come back home. Or maybe you need to forcibly go break it out. One or the other. This is why you have felt like you don't have strong footing on where you're going. This is why you have felt like you're not yourself. This is why you have felt like you can't connect back to your magic. This is why you have felt like you're kind of drifting along. You have no idea like what it is that's going on. You've been constantly worried about did someone hex me or curse me or whatever. Sometimes we end up fucking ourselves over because we trusted somebody. And you shouldn't have to say that. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have to worry about it, because if you give your trust to somebody, that should be a big thing, right? But we all know that people break trust on a daily basis, constantly. So, Erica, my advice is going to be to put on all that badass warrior garb that you have and go break your shadow out of whatever prison it's being held in. Go get it. Go get it. We're in deep thought mode tonight. Just letting you know. All of us. All of us. We're all in deep thought mode. I'm trying to watch the comments a little bit. I see y'all over there. Me and this website gonna fight a lot in its face. Y'all don't even know. Y'all don't even know we're gonna fight a lot in its face here in a minute. There we go. Amy. Maybe. first yawn of the evening. Where's this? Oh, I love that. I'm always honored when you guys tell me that it's like your first time getting a read from me. Makes me feel all special. Seriously. That was a lot. My sorry. I know there was more than that that hit the floor. Really? It was just that many? Okay. Wouldn't it be the same if you didn't? I take what I do seriously. I know there are a lot of people out there that don't. I know there are a lot of people out there that, I don't know, they just do it for whatever fucking reason, but I take this shit seriously. Like, I really and truly do. I do. If you tell me something during an appointment, it's not getting repeated. It's not getting repeated. Period. If you tell me something in confidence, I treat that the same as, I mean, so many years ago, I made a bet with myself, or not a bet, but a challenge to myself of how many places can I get ordained in at once, right? And so it was for a book I was researching, and I got ordained in, I think, 7 or 8 different places during one day. It was the funniest fucking shit. So, like, I'm ordained through the Church of the Dude, through the Church of the Gnomes, through the Church of Bacon, through the Church of Weed, through the church, like, all these different things, right? Like, oh, I'm through the Church of the Jedi, like, all kinds of crazy shit. Yes, there is a Church of the Bacon, actual bacon. Just all kinds of stuff, right? But I mentioned jokingly to a friend that I had gotten ordained in all these places, right? This was literally like 2012 or 2013. And she was like, oh my God, you should do my wedding. I was like, that's a serious thing, man. Like, that's, I don't know if I want to put, I'm ordained to the Church of the Jedi, you know, on your wedding. You know, like, that's a serious thing, right? So I got ordained through like Universal Life Church and all that stuff. But I went and filed mine. Like I filed in several different states and so on. Even though you don't have to, like once you file in one state, it's fine. But some states make you. But anyway, I digress. But because of what I do, I've also done a lot of last rites. I've done a lot of helping people spiritually with, sometimes it's just, they just needed to cry. They just needed to vent. They just needed to tell somebody some shit. You know, like, so I take what I do very seriously. And I know how hard I work to make a living. I know how hard y'all work to make a living. So I don't look at this as, oh, what can I do today? You know? And I take it very seriously, too, that you guys trust me enough to let me help you in some way, shape, or form. So, yeah, I take it very seriously. I take it very seriously. I don't take it lightly when you guys sign up for something. You know what I mean? I don't. Because, yeah, I know there are very few people that I trust to pull cards for me, to give me spiritual advice, etc. Because I've had the shitty people. You know what I mean? Like, I have had the shitty people. I have had the scammers before. Like, yeah. So I get it. I take what I do very seriously. So, all right, Amy. I'm going to get off my soapbox. You ready? What'd you lose? Ma'am. This is the Triple Goddess card. And this is the Spider card. I want you to notice blue, red. I want you to notice the massive difference just in the colors of these two. Yours is going to be a little shorter because when I say the things, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. And this is more, you just needed the nudge. You just needed the nudge. I know that I've talked to you a few times about, you know, your spiritual self, your path, all that stuff, and different appointments and so on. And I think we still have one we need to reschedule, don't we? But it's not so much that you lost your connection. It's not so much that you lost the triple goddess. It's not so much that you lost that tether. I was trying to think of the right word for what I was seeing. Like this silver tether, right? It's not that you lost it. It's not that it was severed. It's not that it's missing. It's not any of that. It's that tether has changed. And you haven't caught up to that tether yet. Everyone goes through a bunch of changes when they go through when they start really diving down their spiritual shit, their witchy shit. You go from, I can connect constantly, everything is hunky-dory, everything is great, all the, the goddesses and blah, 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 blah. You go from this to being adrift, right? To feeling like you're staring at wallpaper constantly. My friend, the tether changed. You changed. The connection's still the same. It's always going to be the same. It's always going to be there. You just have to find what vessel it's in now. Whereas before, it was this big, gorgeous tether right from the top, out into the universe. Now it might be the entire floor under your feet. Now it might be a single little pebble that you picked up at the beach. Now it might be you just feeling the wind on your face. Now it might be that intense righteous anger you have inside. You just have to find it. It's still there. You never lost the tether. You never lost the connection. Never left. It just changed. I mean, just like you grew up, so did that. I told you yours was going to be kind of short and sweet. Maybe not sweet, but short. And now, blueberry. Don't forget you have the spider. You're welcome, sweetheart. Jennifer A is next. I always feel like I've got chocolate all over my face every time I eat. I always feel like I got shit all over my face every time I eat. I'm not a spider person either. But I appreciate them. Once I really started learning about the spiritual meaning, I appreciate them. I appreciate them. Now, if they're in my house, that's Squish City, right? Like we've got an agreement. There's tons of buggy bugs out there. You may eat all of those buggy bugs because I don't like the buggy bugs more than I don't like spiders. But when I really learned what spiders meant spiritually, I suddenly had a whole new appreciation for them. So yeah, still don't like them. They're still creepy as fuck. Oh, they still give me the heebs, but I have a respect for them. Also, I don't like mosquitoes or ants or the little weird buggies that, like the little black ones that move. Bleh. I don't like any of those things. So I would rather have spiders than those. Y'all, we had a huge orb weaver on our back porch the other day. And I need to look at the difference between the male and the female, because I'm pretty sure this one was a male. He was more, I keep thinking it was a male. More muted colors, a little smaller, had a bigger butt. But y'all, he was fucking huge. He was still huge. He was still like, yeah. Okay, I'm giving myself the heaves, so. All right. The orb weavers, yeah, they have the stripy legs. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Ready, Jennifer? You had one card fall out sideways. And it is the silver box. I'm going to try to hold the card up a little bit so you can see. The silver box. I want you to notice the flowers and so on. And then you also have the dragon. So what you lost? Innocence. What you lost was this innocence, this innocent part of Jennifer. What you lost was this part that you used to keep in this gorgeous little silver box. And it was the sacred part of you. And you protected it with all your might. And you never let anything happen to it. And so on. So what you lost was that. And when I say innocence, I don't mean, you know, oh, well, you got married, you know, and you did the mattress mambo. I don't mean that. You know exactly what I mean. You know exactly what I mean. Sometimes you get to a point where you can't unsee things. So what is it you're searching for? I think first of all, you needed to know what you lost. Because you can't figure out what it is you're even searching for if you don't know what it is that you lost. So before I tell you what this search is and why, I want to remind you of this. That box is open for a reason. That box is open for a reason. It's out. It's open. It's gone. You can't put it back in there. You've been wanting to do more, be more, become more, etc. You just haven't understood how to get there. You need to research what the dragon means. You need to research what the dragon means. Always the good little person that followed all of the rules. Sorry, my sugars got the bad arrow. Always the person that did everything they were supposed to do. Colored in the numbers. Colored in the lines. Dragons don't stay in the lines. Dragons don't fit in a box. I'm just saying. I'm just saying what I'm saying, Jennifer.
Your dog looks like an expired bean.
He rolled over a little bit. He did have his face like this. I love him.
Like a rotten legume.
Make fun of him.
He's alive in the same way that a mushroom is.
Wow!
There's a fungus among us.
Wow.
so full.
I don't even know what to say about that. That was mean. My poor baby dog over there. He kind of halfway woke up. All right. Antonia. Antonia's next. What is on the bottom of my cup? Gross. Let me say this. There's a lot of answers to your search. A lot. This is just the catalyst to find the one you need. Before I ever turn them over. I know. Alright. We gotta get the bigger sugar out. Hold please. Hold please. God, I love these. They're so good. So good. These taste really close to the green apple ones. I will say the juicy pear jelly bellies and the blueberry jelly bellies together. Mom. So good. All right. The witch's circle is what you lost. Before I ever turn this other card over, we are absolutely going to talk about this. And I'm going to say this. There is a beauty in working with other people when it comes to your spiritual path. There's a power in working with other practitioners in a working. There's a rush of being in a group and everybody doing something together. But in my experience, and if you study any large magical group that's ever existed, if you study any church congregation, there's always a split. Always. Power corrupts. Power corrupts groups faster than power corrupts a single person. So I'm just saying, Antonia, you lost that group, and that's fine. Let that sink in. You lost that group. You lost that friend. You lost that mentor. You lost whoever that is. It's okay. Before I ever turn this one over, I can't wait to see what this one is. We're going to hold it right here. It's up to y'all if you choose to work with anybody. It's up to you if you choose to work with a group, if you choose to work with a best friend, if you choose to not work with anybody. It is up to you. No one has a say in who you work with. No one should ever have a say in who you work with. You should always trust your gut and follow your gut. No one should automatically sign you up for anything, especially when it comes to magical workings. No one should automatically put you in a group. No one should automatically do anything like that unless you choose to be in that group. Okay? Ready for this? This is the catalyst for you to find where you need to be. It's the broom. It's the broom. Yeah, you lost. Yeah, you lost. Okay? You know exactly what I mean when I say you lost. Yeah, you lost. Girl, get on your damn broom and ride off into the sunset. Get on your broom and leave all of the drama in the dust and go somewhere fucking epic. There are witchy, magical souls everywhere, dude. There are amazing spiritual experiences to be had, solo or with a group. It doesn't matter. Get your ass on that broom and go. Go. I like that the music cued in. Vanessa is next. So I just have the clue for Vanessa. Are we ready? I love Hey Jelly Beans. They get stuck to your teeth so bad. Really? There it is. Ready? My nose is itching. My nose is itching. Ready? This is the toad. And also, as I pointed out a second ago, the number 3 with the 3 stars. One of the things that's really interesting about toads, frogs, etc. in witchcraft, this is something that you see in a lot of movies, you know, like witches have frogs and toads and so on. And most witches do like frogs. Most witches do like toads, etc. They are constantly regenerating themselves. They are constantly regenerating themselves. Not only that, but think about the change that a frog goes through to become an actual frog from a tadpole. They go from only being able to breathe water to being able to breathe air, to absorbing water through their skin. It's a pretty magical being, if you ask me. I mean, I do love frogs and toads, but just saying. But this is your clue, is to research what the toad means, what the toad means to you, and then also that number 3 up there. I love how many of you guys, ooh, my nose is itching, somebody's talking about me. I love how many of you guys like frogs. Where is my playlist at there? What is going on? I'm trying to make sure that it doesn't stop, and I'm trying to make sure that it doesn't. There we are. Okay. I gotta keep an eye on it because it does weird shit when I don't. Farrah. Dude, I haven't seen that name in a long time. I went to high school with a girl named Farrah. Ready? You have the dream catcher as what you lost. Dream catchers are interesting because they Dream catchers are meant to catch bad dreams. So what did you lose? Did you lose the ability to catch bad dreams? Or did you lose the ability to hold on to other people's shit? Because there's a difference. Because there's a difference. And I want you to really think about that. Sometimes we think that we lost a relationship. We think that we lost a partner. We think that we lost a friend. We think that we lost whatever. And it wasn't so much that. It was that we lost the ability to, or the need to, be a container for their bullshit. So you might think that you lost your personal power. You might think that you lost whatever, but you didn't. You didn't. You just lost all the shit that was weighing you down. Why? I've got one random hair that keeps doing that. You ready for the next one? This is one of my favorite cards in this deck. This is the Banshee card. So what is it that you're finding? I'll tell you the easy answer after in just a second. The Banshee is interesting because the Banshee represents two different things. In Celtic, Irish folklore, the Banshee, is someone that, they'll come steal your soul, basically. They will come collect you and pull you off into another realm, into the realm of the Fae, and so on. But Banshees were actually started, there were women that used to be hired to go to funerals and wail and cry. If someone didn't have family, if they didn't have anybody to grieve them at their funeral, they had women in these towns that were hired to do this. And that's where this started. So it's not so much that you lost the ability to hold on to some dreams. It's that you lost the ability or the need to be a container for someone else's fucking shit. So what you're finding is your voice. What is the Banshee known for? The wail, the piercing scream, right? That is exactly what it is you're trying to find. And my friend, it's not just your voice that you're trying to find. You're trying to find this insane Banshee scream. Just saying. Just saying. Make sure I put them in there right. Don't forget, for those of you guys that just have the clue, which Karen is next. Okay, I have one of each for Karen. I have the search and the clue. Okay. The clue is for you to research. Okay? The clue. Oh, I love that that was confirmation for you. I love it. The clue is me giving you the direction and you running with it. So if I pull, I don't know, the sun for you, you know what the sun means to you, right? It means this astrologically. It means this spiritually. It means that the Schumann's going to act up if it decides to throw a fit. But you know what the sun means to you, right? Or when I say the sun, you might instantly think about, your favorite vacation a few years ago, sitting on a beach and, enjoying the sunshine for once. You know what the sun means to you. So if I pull a card for you as the clue, it's up to you to determine A, what that means spiritually, and B, what it means to you spiritually to help you find where you're going. Alrighty. Karen. I forgot who I was reading for. I was like, let me go back because I forgot. This is Karen O. And I already had your cards come out. And I'm going to do kind of like I did earlier. We're going to do the search, the 2 cards, and then we're going to do the single card over here. So if you're ready, got real quiet. The Phoenix is what you lost. I find this portrayal of the Phoenix interesting. I really do. I want all of y'all to realize, and it's not just Karen, okay? Even though this reading is for Karen, it's not just her. I need you guys to realize that the Phoenix is only a phase. It is, it's only a phase. Even in magical lore, folklore, whatever, the bird, the Phoenix represents, or the Phoenix itself, it's not burning and having a rebirth on a daily basis. It's not. It only does it every now and then. And in some tales and some folklore, it only does it once in its whole life. So if you feel like you have no idea how you're going to have this big change and shift and so on, maybe you don't need one. Maybe the thing that you need to catapult you forward has nothing to do with this massive rebirth. Maybe it has everything to do with what you've already learned, the skills you've already got. You can't be the Phoenix every single moment. You can't be the Phoenix every single day, or you're constantly burning and turning to ash. Most people only think about the Phoenix for the rebirth part. You're forgetting about the burning and turning to ash. You're forgetting about the 2 parts before that. This is the broom. This is what you're finding, or actually with you, I think it's the way to go from here. I love that both those cards are red because that's a lot of action. Yours is not the short, sweet, get your ass on the broom and go. Yours is sweep away the ash, man. You have been this too long. You have just kept burning things down for too long. And now there's ash everywhere. You're going to have to sweep away the ash to get it out of the way so you can actually see what's underneath. What is it that you did learn? Who are you underneath all of that ash? The broom is a very powerful tool in any witchy arsenal. You got to sweep away the ash. If you get buried under too much weight of all of the burning down of the things, how are you going to get out of that? Even ash solidifies over time. Look at Pompeii. Even ash solidifies into concrete. So I'd suggest you get that broom and sweep it the fuck away really, really quickly. So this is your clue, and I'm going to hold it up here. This is the clue to kind of tell you where it is that you're going from here after you sweep things away, after you clean all the ash off. This is the crystal ball. And all I'm going to say with this is, ask and ye shall receive. The crystal ball is a very interesting tool, and I feel like it is a lost art. I feel like it's a lost art. I feel like there are not a lot of people that understand how to use a crystal ball very well. Hell, I have a lot of problems with using one. Sometimes I'm on the ball and I can do it. but I don't practice enough. But ask and ye shall receive, my friend. But what is the meaning? What is the spiritual meaning of the crystal ball? And what does the crystal ball mean to you? I find it interesting that both of these cards are fire. Crazy reds and oranges and yellows. And this one is muted grays and whites and a little bit of black. Ugh. I'm just saying what I'm saying. Y'all also realize that you don't have to take everything at the face value of whatever that is, right? Right? Jessica A is next. I've got you for the search. Let me update my list here. What is going on? I have like half names and half not. I haven't checked the Schumann again today. We had some insane spikes earlier. Insane spikes. Oh, I do have you for both, Jessica. Okay. So even though your other one is like way up here, I'm going to do them both at the same time. All right. Okay, then. So the thing that you lost, that card decided to flip out. It was like, here, here. Because apparently it is that important. And this is the spider. Now, before you start thinking about, the spider, before you start thinking about who the spider represents and so on, I want you to look up the spiritual meaning of the spider. And when you look it up in the context of what it is that you lost, I don't want you to get upset, okay? Because a lot of times we look at something, if somebody's like, oh, this just exited your life. Well, I need that protection, or I need that abundance, or I need that fertility, or, you know, whatever. But you don't all the time, though. Like, I'm not saying you don't always need protection or abundance or whatever, but sometimes it's not the main thing you need, though. Like, what if the main thing you need is peace? And what if the peace that you need, you can't get because you have so many walls and iron gates up, it can't get through. So I want you to look at what the spiritual meaning of the spider is, because that's what you lost. The other thing I'm going to say is notice what is behind the spider. The thing we all associate with spiders. The spider web. So while, yes, you lost the spider aspect, you also lost the web, that sticky shit that you couldn't get out of. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. This is the Hag card with her single crow and a crescent moon. I'm just going to point out that this lunar eclipse on Thursday is not a total lunar eclipse. It is not a complete blood moon. It is only going to be about 96%. There will still be a sliver of light around it. It'll still be kind of orangey, red, but there will still be a sliver of light around it. Just saying. The Hag is an interesting creature. Going from the spider, I'm over here giggling. Going from the spider to the Hag, I think that when you research what the spiritual meaning of both of them are, you're going to realize that it's exactly the thing you asked for. It's exactly the thing you asked for. the first one is freedom. The second one is knowledge. It's exactly the thing you asked for. And I think when you fall down the rabbit hole about both of them, I think you're going to see, because I've done a lot of readings for you over the years. You know, we've talked back and forth, and I know some of the things going on and stuff like that. I'm gonna need you to send me an email and be like, bitch. I wish that I could be sitting there watching your face when you research these two things. That you lost the spider and you gained the hag. So where are you going from here? Because this is your clue. So where is it you're supposed to go from here? This is the mirror. The mirror represents a lot of stuff. You didn't see that. The mirror represents a lot of stuff. The mirror represents a lot of reflections of us. The mirror represents a lot of reflections of who we want to be, the good and the bad. But I want you to pay attention that the mirror in this is blank. Mirrors are also a liminal space. Mirrors are also a threshold. Mirrors are also potential. So think about that when you're looking at the mirror and moving forward. I like these readings. We might have to do these again. I like these a lot. These are fun. These are fun. What really, the part of it that sucks though, I'm not gonna lie, is that I don't get to sit and watch your face when you read the thing and see it click in your head. I don't get to sit and watch you go, oh my God, like, yeah. Yeah. So that part does suck. Oh, Tracy Rivera. Tracy Rivera's next. Oh, wrong one. We want that one. There we go. Part of the reason I'm yawning is because my sugar crashed, and now it's like, now we're on the yo-yo. Yeah. All right. You had your two fall out together because of course it did. Because of course it did. You know what? Normally I don't answer questions whenever somebody comes in, but I see you over there, beauty. And let me say this. I'm gonna give you my dad's advice. Because she said, should I accept the settlement? No one can tell you yes or no to that. But I can ask you a question and you will immediately know the answer. And that is your answer. You ready? Are you ready to keep on fighting for that thing, or are you ready to go live your life? Just saying. Ready, Tracy? What you've lost. The witch's hat. Notice that it's stuck in the tree. Notice that the crow has it. Notice that it's a full moon. Notice that this eclipse coming up is a full moon. I'm just saying. You want to know what you lost? You lost the novelty witchery. You know exactly what I'm talking about. All of you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say the novelty witchery. right? The Spirit Halloween Target Cauldron. That's what you lost. That's what you lost. Losing the witch's hat. Losing the dollar store version of witchery is not always a bad thing. Just saying. Just saying. Now I will say this. I am a fan of all the crazy, crappy little Halloween shit that pops up. I am. I don't allow myself to go into Spirit Halloween because I spend too much money because they have some cool shit. I will say this, not that I'm plugging them in any way, shape, or form, but they have some amazing witchy blankets in there. Like, this was, how many, oh God, several years ago. They had a round blanket, right? It's a throw, but it's round, and it's a Ouija board. It's a big round Ouija blanket, and I fucking love it. And it's black fuzzy on the other side. It's glorious. I'm just saying, that particular year, I think I bought 4 blankets and like 6 throw pillows, and I'm just saying, I always find some really cool shit in there. One of my favorite Mr. Rogers witchy sweaters I got in there. It's just black, and it has a white piping around the collar and the sleeves, and then the elbows are pentagrams, and I love it. So I'm just saying, like, you know. All right. So if you lost the novelty witchery, this is the silver box. What you found, I think you're afraid to open. Whereas when the silver box popped out before for Jennifer, hers was a loss of the innocence of either before the spiritual awakening or before, you know, this happened or that happened or whatever. But with you lost the novelty witchery part. And now you're at a threshold. Because think about it. When you're about to open a box, that's technically a little bit of a threshold, right? If you don't know what's in the box, if someone just brought you a random gift, you don't know what's in the box. If you guys right now in your mind are hearing Brad Pitt go, "What's in the box?" We are friends, okay? I'm just saying, we are friends if that is what you're hearing. Seven used to be my favorite fucking movie when it came out. You don't know what's in the box, right? It could be all of this power that you've been looking for. It could be empty. It could have literally everything in between. Nobody can tell you when to open the box. But the longer you wait, the more that is going to gnaw at you on what the potential could be if you open the box. Just saying. Just saying what I'm saying. Open the box. I mean, when you're ready. Y'all, this part is for Tracy, but I want all of y'all to listen to it. As you go down the witchery path, down your spiritual journey and so on, and you start really getting into the witchery, there comes a time when the novelty wears off, right? Because when you first get into it, it's all the novelty, right? It's all the novelty. And you're so excited, right? You got a new stone, you got new herbs, you got a wand, you got the right. It's like all the novelty of it. You just want the things. Eventually, it loses its novelty, and you get a little bit of You get a little like disenfranchised with all of it. And you're kind of like, I don't really want to go to the witchy shop now. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do, like, I don't want to do that. You just start, you get disillusioned with it in a way. And that is the moment when you have to decide if you're going to open that box or not. And it's a threshold. It is absolutely a threshold. And you're either going to choose to step across the threshold or close the door and walk away. And this is why there's a lot of people that once they start to get disillusioned with the novelty aspect of it, they walk away, right? They've always dabbled. They've always done this or this. They've always dabbled, right? It's because then they just walked away at times. And we all do it. I walked away, right? I've walked away. You've walked away. I guarantee you as a kid, you used to love this shit, and then you walked away, and then maybe as a teenager, and then you walked away. We've all done it. But there comes a point when you are a big witch that you have to make the decision. Are you going to open the box and cross the threshold to the other side, or are you going to shut the door and walk away? Because if you shut the door and walk away as an adult, that magic might stay on the other side of that door, right? Just saying. Just saying. Karina. Let me refresh this. These are fun. I like these a lot. I saw somebody ask if I was going to do them again. I really wasn't going to plan to, but now that I'm doing them, I'm like, okay, I really kind of like this. I just clicked the wrong button. Hold on. I clicked the wrong button. I clicked all the wrong buttons. There we go. All right, Karina, you ready? That fucking cat.
I'm teaching the cat bachata.
What? You're teaching the cat what? Is he purring?
Yes.
Oh.
I just picked him up.
The fact that he lets her pack him around like a fucking
Is
child.
this not normal?
No.
I've never had a cat before.
Vladdy Patty. Boy.
He sits on my hip like a baby.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all can see him, but he literally sits on her hip like a fucking child.
Yes.
Vlad.
Oh, damn.
Was that a big itches? Was it a big itch? Aww.
He throws his whole head back.
Vladdy Patty.
Damn.
Well, he had to itch his shoulder.
Don't do that on me,
If you
boy.
could lick your shoulder, you would.
I do. I can. I will.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. I thought like a little kid he was going to do that for a minute. You are a weird cat. Are you getting a white chinny chin chin? No, okay, is this a shadow? Okay.
He's got a white fupa.
He does though. She's not wrong. She just told your business.
Why is that the only part of you that's white? White a fupa. Do you
He's
bleach
getting
your-
some random white hairs here and there, but yeah, he does have a white.
He's only 2 years old. He's not going white. Is he even 2 years
He
old?
better not. No.
He's 2 years old. We got him when I went to prom, and I'm 20.
Oh yeah, he is. He's 2.5, almost 2.5. I had to think for a minute. Yeah, we got him when the year you turned 18. So yeah, 2024. We got him 2024.
He's about to bite me soon.
Yeah, I know. I see his tail over there. All right, Karina. Now I loved on him, and now my nose is itching. He's the weirdest cat. That was like 4 cards. We're trying to give her an answer, not confuse her. All right. Ready? This is what you lost. The Raven. Okay. I find it interesting that there's a raven right up front and a raven in the back. We're going to hold on to this one for a minute. I'm going to say this about the Raven card. Losing the Raven is interesting. There's 6 stars on it. 6 stars and 3 flowers. Just saying. I had to look. 6 stars and 3 flowers. The Raven's an interesting animal. If y'all don't know what the Raven means spiritually, that's your homework. If you don't know what the Crow means spiritually, that's your homework, okay? They're 2 different birds. Ravens have black beaks, black feet. They're huge. They're huge, okay? They both mean something completely different. And depending on where you're from, where your family's from, they might also have a different meaning. A lot of my friends who are native have a different view of the raven than other people and so on. But losing the raven is interesting because that is a part of you that was super connected to, I'm going to say it this way on purpose, to information. And this doesn't mean being connected to school, being connected to a person, being connected to a conduit, having your phone. It doesn't mean anything like that. But being super connected to information, to gaining information, finding it out, etc. There's a lot of times in spiritual practice, because it's going to happen more than once to all of y'all, that you do have to go silent for a little bit. You do have to go silent for a little bit. You do have to back up. You do have to just let things kind of be and settle for just a minute. Because if you're trying to continue, if you're trying to churn muddy water to make the water clear, it's only going to continue to be muddy. It's never going to be clear if you're continually churning the water. So sometimes you have to back up a little bit and let everything settle before you can see. Ooh, my nose is itchy still. So where is it you're going? What is it you're looking for? Why is my nose still itchy? Whoever the fuck is talking about me, just stop. This one has come up a lot in this position. A lot. This is the dragon. I find it interesting that you lost the raven and you're gaining the dragon. But here's the thing. I don't think so much that you're gaining a dragon. You're gaining dragon energy. I think the dragon is the vessel to get you where you're trying to go. That's what I think this card represents. So, I also want you to notice the colors of the cards and how different they are. Like, that is literally night and day. Get it? Ba-bum, different. That is so crazily different. The dragon has its own set of wisdom, its own set of rules, its own type of power. And depending on what culture you're looking at, I mean, it could very well be a deity. So, I'm just saying. You know. I kind of can't wait to see what you find out about dragons with ancestral places that you have visited. Just saying. The element of which one? The dragon? Neither one of these really have an element. I don't know. I think the raven has an element, but the dragon's a little different. It literally could be anything. I mean, the only reason I say anything is because this one does have like more of a fish tail. It also has blue scales. It looks like a snake instead of having wings. Like, so it just kind of depends. The dragon, I couldn't tell you if this one had an element or not. Like, I really couldn't. But I would bet when you start researching, one will pop up. I bet. An element, I mean, not the dragon. Yeah. Just saying what I'm saying. Just saying what I'm saying. Oh, that's part of why you asked. I bet an element pops up. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the hell I just heard. Oh, bear's over there. You are so welcome. Y'all feel free after these to message me and be like, this is what I found out. Susan is next. All right then. All right then. Apparently, we got to read yours backwards, Susan, because the card that flung out landed right side up, and this is basically what it is you're searching for. But here's the thing. What it is you're searching for, or the vessel in your search. Okay, well, we'll just start there. This is the scarab. So the scarab is a very, very intense, magical, has a lot of magical symbolism in ancient Egypt. But the scarab itself is one of the things, actual scarabs scare the shit out of me. They do. I got obsessed with them for a little bit after watching like The Mummy, you know, where the scarabs get inside the guy's body and everything. Yeah, they did that. So I'm okay with never being around. Like the thought of a bug getting inside my skin, I would lose my mind. I would straight up lose my mind. Absolutely not. So what it is that you're searching for, how you're searching, whatever it is basically cannibalizing your search. Look up the spiritual meaning of the scarab, obviously, but the symbolism of the scarab too is that you can end up cannibalizing your entire search with the search. It's kind of like when you ever been looking for something and found that it's literally right there in front of you? And then you're like, oh, if it would have been a snake, it would have bit me, right? Or you had somebody tell you, oh, if it would have been a snake, it would have bit you. Yeah, that's the same thing. Same thing. You are looking so hard that you didn't see the damn thing right there in front of you. So take that into account when you're looking up the spiritual meaning of these things, okay? But my advice, friend to friend, witch to witch, is back off of the search for a minute. Just for a minute, right? Just take your hands up like that, right? Put your hands up. Throw your hands up. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? So what did you lose? The triple goddess. So you also lost your connection. I find it interesting that both of these are almost the exact same color in the background. You lost your connection. In fact, I feel like I need to say it this way. You lost all of the connection. Every bit of it. You feel like you got shut off. You feel like You got shut out. You feel like no matter what, you can't seem to get that connectivity back like you used to have. First of all, I'm going to say this. You aren't alone. I cannot tell you how many people I talk to on a daily basis, whether it's messages, appointments, or whatever, that are like, I suddenly cannot connect. I suddenly cannot connect to anything in the spiritual realm. Like all of my gifts, everything feels blocked. So you're not alone. You're not alone. So, sometimes you got to take the bypass. Do you understand what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to take the bypass. Sometimes maybe there's too much construction around where you're trying to go, and you got to go side roads, alleyways. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? I'm going to write something down because I'm going to forget it if I don't. Damn it. I picked the one pen that doesn't want to work right. No, it's my fuck you pen. So, does that make sense, Susan? Look up the meaning of the scarab. That's going to give you a big, huge clue on how to get back this connection. Let's just conspiracy theory for a minute. It's normal for people to have crises of faith. It is. It happens in every religion, every practice. Doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. Doesn't matter. It's normal. It's normal to question things. It is not normal for a massive group of people who don't practice together to suddenly lose all of their connections to the divine. In my humble opinion. So if we're conspiracy theorying, I feel like that got shut off. Maybe we need to release the scarabs. I don't know. All right, Tanya is next. Tanya's next. I personally don't see how a massive amount of witchy people who were so connected and like, bam, intense with everything, suddenly it's like, with every one of them. You can't fool me, I'm too ignorant. You know what I mean? Just saying. All right, we ready, Tanya? What'd you lose? You cannot make this shit up. Did I not just say that it felt like all of the witchy people lost their connection? This is the witch. What'd you lose? The witch. That's what you lost. Notice that she's got the black cat. That's what you lost. The witch. Yours is interesting, girl. Yours is not the novelty. Ow, that was a knot. Yours is not the novelty of being a witch. Yours is not the spirituality of being a witch. Yours is not anything more than your inner core. And let me say this. This is like a weird way of losing it too. You know when you drop a marble on the floor in the kitchen, and you drop something round on the floor in the kitchen and it rolls right under the fucking refrigerator, and you know you're never going to see that again? You know that marble or that lid or whatever that was, you know that bitch is gone forever. I think that's how you have felt with this. But I don't think that's the case. I want to look at the search. This is the Banshee card. I'm just saying, I find it funny that they're both facing out. Of course, when I have them like this, they're facing, like if I'm looking down on them, they're facing like this. My friend, I don't think that you... When I said, you know, and that thing rolled under the refrigerator and you felt like you're never going to see it again. I don't think that that is the case. I think that you just need to Hulk smash the refrigerator. I think that you need to pick it up and fucking heave it somewhere else and pull that thing out from underneath. That banshee energy, that banshee strength like that, I'm just saying. Also, don't be afraid to trade in the witch that you were for the witch that you're becoming and the witch that you want to be. I want you to liken, and for this is for all of you. We all go through phases where we get haircuts, right? You're trying to find your perfect haircut, your perfect hair color. Y'all, I've had my hair every fucking color. Every fucking color. Like, I'm trying to think of the black. I haven't had black hair. That's the only one I haven't had. I haven't done brown either. But when it comes to, like, colors, I've had my hair almost every color that there is. But I've had my hair super short. I've had it down to my butt. I've had it every length in between. Hell, I just cut 6.5 inches off of it not that long ago. And then trimmed it again. Did a haircut that I've been wanting to have for a long time, and I absolutely fucking love it. I want you to think of your spiritual path like that. You can shape it, you can mold it, you can color it, you can cut it, you can trim it, you can pull it up, you can leave it down. It's still going to be there. It's still going to be there. And even if you cut it off, it'll grow back. So, go be the banshee. Hulk smash the refrigerator. Pick up the little marble that rolled underneath it. Dust it off. I don't think it's so much that you lost it. It's that it needed to go away for you to appreciate it, and it needed to go away for you to realize that it needs to be able to grow. Just saying. Just saying. I love that, Joe. I've already decided when I get to be a little old lady, we are straight up mohawking this bitch. Straight up mohawking it. That's what I want. Abigail! I mean, can you see little old lady Bodhi in the nursing home with a mohawk? We will do the victory spikes and all. I'm just saying. I don't care if I got to use toothpaste in the nursing home. We are doing victory spikes. Like, yeah. Just saying. Depending on the day will depend on what color toothpaste I use. All right, Abigail, save me from myself, okay? What is it that you lost? The scarab. I find that interesting. You lost the thing that was eating away at you. You lost the very thing that was eating you from the inside out. Obviously, look up the spiritual meaning of the scarab too. But that's a very powerful thing to have in the lost category right here. You can't make this up. Why you got 2 Egyptian cards? You have the scarab. And then what are you gaining? The Eye of Horus. Why you got 2 Egyptian cards? So you lost the thing that was eating you alive, and you're gaining all of the protection. This is one of my favorite symbols. It really and truly is. If you guys are not familiar with the Eye of Horus as a witch's soul, you should be. I love this depiction of it too. Like, I love the eye. I love how it's red in the middle. Like, I love this depiction of it. But the Eye of Horus is an amazingly protective symbol. I also find it interesting that they are the same background colors. Like, exactly the same background colors. I think that sometimes my eyeballs be itchy. I did take my allergy medicine today. I think sometimes we get so caught up in the journey of where we think we're going that we forget the shit that made us so uncomfortable and the shit that made us want to change and want to shift and want to move. All of the shit that we have held on to for so long, we try to let that go. And when it does finally let go, we feel like something is wrong because you're no longer carrying the shit. It would be like if you carried around a bowling ball every single day for 10 years. The same bowling ball, right? Every single day in a bag. Same weight, same arm, same pain, same stress, carrying this fucking bowling ball around, right? And then one day, the strap breaks on the bag. And you're not carrying the bowling ball. That first little bit is great, right? Because sweet, I can use my Popeye arm over here, right? But then after a while, you start to feel like something is wrong because you don't have the bowling ball with you. You carried it every day for 10 years, and now you don't have it. So you start getting a little anxious, and you start looking for other things to carry to make up for the weight of the bowling ball. So what is it that you're carrying in weight of what was eating you? Just saying. And then apparently you need to look into the Eye of Horus. Not look into the Eye of Horus, but look at it, the meaning of it, and so on. And I find it very interesting that you have 2 Egyptian deities. Or 2 Egyptian cards. Maybe there are 2 Egyptian deities too. I don't know. I just find it interesting. In all of these cards, you got 2 Egyptian cards. I'm just saying. I'm just saying what I'm saying. Amy L is next. So let me refresh my list and I'll tell you guys who all's left. Because we getting close to the end. Maybe. Anybody else been having, like, my computer was great this morning and then all of a sudden it was like, yeah, now I'm not. And then, yep, it's just weird. All right. So Amy L is next. Then I have Tiara, Heather R, Nikki R, Jennifer R. Stop it. That's funny. Heather R, Nikki R, Jennifer R, and then Ann. And I have 2 for Ann. That's crazy right there. Y'all gotta quit with that shit. I'm serious. It always cracks me up sometimes whenever I'm, I figured, that's why I kept pointing out the Egyptian things. I figured that there was something with them that kept popping up. I just think it's really funny. Sometimes when I'm looking at my lists and so on, how the everything stacks up. When I'm looking at it on the computer, it shows me in the order that they were added, right? Whereas on my phone, it just shows me in alphabetical order. It pisses me off sometimes. But so when I have like Amanda, or Jennifer, it just fucking cracks me up. Like, it just fucking cracks me up. So, oh my gosh. So Tiara is Tiara R also. Okay, I'm gonna need y'all to stop it. You want to hear something really funny? I'm going back to my maiden name, and my maiden name starts with an R. All right, Amy. Here we go. Are we ready? What did Amy lose? The bat. This is also 4. The number 4, there's 4 stars on there, but this is the bat card. So what did you lose? I think that you lost some stuff that you feel like is a big, huge, huge loss, but it's not. Bats, I know you guys have heard the term blind as a bat. My ear be itchy. I know you've heard the term blind as a bat. I mean, bats use echolocation and so on. They're not completely blind, but pretty close. They use echolocation. So you lost the ability to fly short distances. So you lost the ability to not see. So you lost the ability to only eat like little tiny buggy bugs. So you lost the ability to do things that at first you thought were really cool because you couldn't do them before, and now you kind of lost the ability to do those little bitty teeny tiny things. Okay. So you lost the ability to do crap that you had gotten bored with, and you don't want to do those things anymore. I'm just saying. Also, look up the spiritual meaning of the bat. But what is it that you're searching for? Witch. Girl, you've been searching for your personal power. You've been searching for all of the amazing things. You've been searching for... Insert whatever it is that you're searching for here when it comes to your spiritual self and power. A lot of times, and this is just from my experience, a lot of times we search for power, we search for our personal power, we search for our gift, our ability, we search whatever, right? We search for all these things, and we're bound determined to find them. But we don't realize that there are other gifts and abilities that we have to let go of, that no longer serve us, that are no longer ours, that whatever. Or maybe they were lesser gifts that were helping us build up our courage to have the bigger gifts. That's the thing. You got to let go of the training wheels before you can ride the bike. And you got to let go of the kiddie bike before you can get the big kid bike. And you got to let go of the big kid bike before you can get the 10 speed. You see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? I'm just saying what I'm saying, Amy. So. Girl, go be the most amazing, powerful, witchy person. Let go of all the little shit. Let go of all the little shit. What you're saying is run, don't walk. Exactly. Exactly. I'm going to pull up my next person and then I'm going to answer that question. Tiara. I'm gonna answer that question. Queenie Love said, how do you find your way back after a year of loss and tragedy? I feel like I've lost my path completely. Are you sure that you really want to find that same exact path again? I mean, it's just a question. And I don't need an answer, and you don't need the answer right now. But are you sure you really want that same exact path again? Because that same exact path led you where you are right now. So if you're wanting a do-over, what if it's not a do-over? What if it's a restart? It's like playing a video game. You finish that level and now you're on a different level. So now you got to gather all the things again. Now you gotta go and gather all the coins and the armor and the goodies, and now you get to start over again, but you still know all the things that you knew. So I'm just saying. All right, Tiara, you ready? See, and that's why I needed to answer that question. And Queenie, looky there. Look at how many people needed to hear that. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah, you're welcome. I think that I use a lot of video game references just because. I mean, I played them professionally for a long time, so I use a lot of video game references. But really, if you look at video games and how we treat them, especially one that you really get engulfed in, or people get engulfed in, there's a lot of metaphors for life in there as well, if you really think about it. So, I know Tiara is ready. Here's your clue. Who the fuck just said that rings a bell? Because it's a bell. You know what's really funny? As soon as I turned this card over, and the fact that someone said, why did that just ring a bell? Kirsten and I went into Goodwill a while ago. There's a Goodwill by the house that we'd never been in. And I saw something interesting in there that I hadn't ever seen anybody do. There was a lady in there, and there were some ceramic bells, and she was ringing all of them and listening to them like that. I tried not to stare. There's a little older lady. She was ringing them and listening. Ringing them and listening. And it was so funny. But you know exactly what the bell means to you. You know exactly what the bell means to you. But I would also research what the bell means spiritually as well. And I want you to notice that this particular bell is silver. Just saying. Just saying. That's your clue, my friend. Use bells all the time for clearings. You know, my sister and I were talking the other day. Heather R is next. My sister and I were talking the other day about witchy stuff and things we did growing up. Like, we were laughing, you know, about different stuff. And I said, you know, it's really funny. As a kid, my mom used to make door hangers for everybody. Every Christmas, she made these things, right? All year long, every time we got a 6-pack of pop, or, you know, that had the rings on it, every time we got a 6-pack of any cans, she wouldn't throw those away. She would trim them, and she would trim the circles, right? She would trim the plastic to keep the circle. And then she would crochet around it, and she would interlock them together, and they all had bells, and everybody got one every fucking Christmas. And usually they were Christmas colors, right? Like green and red and white and stuff. And sometimes she made them blue, but almost always they were green and red and white. And my sister and I were laughing about that. I was like, man, I never realized that mom was trying to clear everybody else's house. You know what? I would love for somebody to make one of those. I really, really would. I would love for somebody to make one of those. I haven't seen one in a long time, but yeah, she would. I don't know how she would interlock them together either, but they always, or maybe they just cascaded down and my child brain thought they were interlocking. But yeah, she would keep those, and she would trim around them until there was like this much on the circle part. And so then the rest of it that got thrown away was just little pieces. There was nothing for anything to get caught on. But yeah. All right, you ready, Heather? It is the salamander again. Your clue is the salamander. I knew I was getting yawned again. I could feel it coming. Sorry about that. I'm going to point out once again that the salamander is the fire element. And this card is fire, right? So when you're looking for... I'm going to say it this way on purpose. When you're looking for what you're looking for, because I don't think you actually know. I think that you just feel like you need to be on this search for something and you don't actually know what it is you need to be searching for. Sometimes we need a fire that doesn't look like a fire to open up that path. Sometimes a fire that burns everything in its path is not what is needed in that moment. Sometimes you need something different. But you still need to burn some shit away. Does that make sense? I'm gonna need follow-ups from like everybody. I'm gonna need follow-ups from like everybody. I'm gonna pull myself a card later. Yeah, I'm gonna need follow-ups from like all y'all's. All y'all's. Just saying. All yous. All yins. Nikki R. The fact that it's like R, 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 R. The clue is just to send you down the rabbit hole, y'all. There's some tea in there, I guess. Ready, Nikki? Your clue is literally lightning. I really love this card. There we go. I was like, I wish that it wouldn't reflect so bad. Lightning. Boy, if that's not an interesting clue right there. And I feel like I need to point out, have you ever fallen down the rabbit hole on what different things look like when they're struck by lightning? Like sand, metal. Have you ever fallen down that rabbit hole? Do you know that there's a whole type of stone out there that is lightning struck sand? It's called fairy stone. It's fucking wicked cool. It is wicked cool. It looks like it would be fragile as shit. It is not. I have the weirdest piece. I have the weirdest piece that I got in Denver. It's like weird little bulbs. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, I felt the need specifically to tell you that you should look at different things when lightning strikes them. Just saying. I'm pretty sure it's called fairy stone. Hold on. I'm pretty sure. Hold on. What is the stone called when lightning strikes sand? Okay, I can't pronounce that. Fulgurite. Fossilized lightning is what it stands for. But, I always heard it called fairy stone. Fulgurites. They're really cool. And it kind of depends. Sometimes they look like pieces of coral. And then sometimes, that's not it. Hold on. Y'all got me down a rabbit hole now. There we are. Sometimes they look like that. Those are fairy stones right there. They're real bulbous, real weird. So if you look up fairy stone, like, you'll find them. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So there's your whole rabbit hole. There's your whole ass rabbit hole. Oh, I gotta... There we go. There we go. Damn it. All right. We ready? Now y'all got me down the rabbit hole. All right, Jennifer R. Now we had all the R's. You're welcome, Nikki, honey. Yeah, y'all are all down the rabbit hole now. Y'all are all down the rabbit hole now. Just get ready. Ready? Your clue is, I never can pronounce this right. Ceridwen Cauldron. This is a Celtic deity. I'll spell it for you. Ready? Ceridwen. I never, ever, ever can pronounce it correctly. You would think I could. No. No. It doesn't matter how many times someone tells me how to pronounce it. My brain goes, Shribe. This is an interesting piece of lore. It's an interesting piece of folklore and Celtic folklore and stuff like that. But the cauldron itself, too, also means something. Not just this one in particular, but the cauldron itself also means something. And I would almost guarantee you that when I said the word cauldron, you immediately thought of one from your childhood or your pet or whatever. You immediately thought of one. You just wanted to buy a cauldron. I, in storage, have the craziest cauldron I've ever seen. It is a massive steel cauldron that was used for sugarcane. Like you could fit probably a 7-year-old child in there. It is that deep. It is so huge. And it's on rollers. I mean, where am I gonna put it in my house? You know what I mean? Like, where am I gonna put it in my house? But it is, I found it at a damn flea market of all places, trying to get that bitch in my car. It was just Sass and I. Like, I ended up having to go and get help. Like, that thing weighs a fuck ton, a metric fuck ton. It does. Like, it's a good... The cauldron itself is a good 2.5 feet tall. A good 2.5 feet tall. More than that, probably. Almost 3. And it does have big feet on it, right? But this is on its own big old rolly... It's crazy. Sass and I have loaded some really weird shit into my car on trips, so... Yeah. I'm sure that if we had a camera crew that followed us around half the places that we've been over the last few years, yeah. We have had to stop and rearrange the car so many times just because it was too full to even put a pack of socks in. We're like, no. If we can just take everything out and rearrange. We got it in the fucking car, though. We got it in the car. I can Tetris like a motherfucker. All right. Anne is next, and I have 2 for Anne. I'm going to refresh my list and make sure that that's everybody. Yeah. I was just sitting here giggling about different things. Like having a backseat full of dolls. Creepy ass dolls. You are so welcome, love. Oh, when we went into Goodwill, there was a lady in there checking out, and she had a basket with like 4 or 5 porcelain dolls in it. And I was laughing. Everybody be buying the dolls now, man. It was funny. All right, ready? So you have two of the clues. The first one is the witch's bottle, and notice that it is full of nails. Notice that it's full of nails. I always found that very interesting in this deck, that it's full of nails. I always found it interesting. So one of your clues is literally an open witch's bottle. So I would say, what spell work is it that you've left unfinished? What have you left unfinished? And I know some of you guys, your instant thought is, well, how would you leave something unfinished? You ever had a candle that you started and you had to put it out because of this or that or whatever, and you forgot about it? You can't, don't you dare say no either, because every one of us has. Every one of us has. Every one of us has. You ever went to start a working or start a jar or a bottle and thought, okay, well, I'm going to leave a little bit in the top so that way I can add to it later, and then you forgot about it? Just saying. Just saying. I'm just saying. You ready for the last one? Or for the other one? It is the familiar. The cute little black meow meow with the weird skull thing down there at the bottom. And the single star over its noggin. Both of these are two extremely, I'm going to say it 2 ways. Extremely witchy things and extremely basic witchy things. And I don't mean the basic in a bad way. I mean like every witch has a familiar. Every witch loves fucking bottles. You know you do. Right? So I would look at where the 2 of those intersect. I would. Absolutely. Where do the 2 of those things intersect? That's where your path is. That's where your clues are leading you, and that is where you're going to find either that springboard or that path hidden in the wilderness or whatever. That's exactly where you're going to find that. By the way, I need to make sure to point out to you that the witch's bottle card is green, and the familiar card is mainly gray in the background. The cat is black, but it's mainly gray. So, just saying. The clues are for you guys to fall down the rabbit hole, to give you a direction to fall down the rabbit hole in. A lot of times too, when it comes to, like, okay, this one in particular, when I said bottles, bottles are something that we have around us all the time, right? Pop bottles, ketchup bottles, you know, witchy bottles, whatever. You have them around you all the time. But when you have them in the forefront of your mind, you start to see them more and more and more. So I guarantee you, like the red car theory, now that I've pointed out bottles to you, you're going to be looking around your house, your office, like everywhere you go at different bottles, like you just will, because now they're on your mind. So sometimes a clue isn't so much, oh, you got to fall down the rabbit hole with this. It's so you'll notice that thing. How many of you guys are going to start noticing salamanders now because they came up you know, in your cars? How many of you guys are going to notice spiders more now? How many of you guys are going to notice bats or crows or ravens or whatever now? Do you see what I'm saying? So sometimes it's not so much, oh, you got to figure out what this means or what that means. It's to have that on your radar in the forefront of your mind. Let's say that you're out and about, you know, with friends this weekend or something. Y'all are out window shopping, and you weren't going to go into this store, but in the window they have this crazy ass bottle, and you go, oh, wait a minute, I got to go in this store. And in that store you find exactly the thing that you've been looking for cheap. But I'm just saying, a clue is just that. Let it be a clue. It doesn't have to be a concrete XYZ. It's a clue. So, and I happily would accept updates on all this. On all it. All it. All right, lovelies. Yes, I will absolutely do this one again because I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this, and this deck is going to have to get used a lot more because I really love it. I really love it. So, all right, lovely poos. Go spread some goodness. Go spread some love, or take your ass to bed. Take your ass to bed. So, familiars or something you've been thinking about, as in, how do you know if you've had them? Everybody's had familiars. I guarantee you. It's so funny. When I got Zeus, my ex-husband used to laugh because this little teeny tiny dog followed me around everywhere. He would sit by the front door when I'd leave, like he was in my lap if I was working, whatever. Like that 100% is a familiar for me, right? 100%. Every one of us has had a pet that we've been super connected to, and a familiar doesn't have to just be a cat or a dog. I've had geckos that I absolutely loved with my entire heart, right? They would bite the fuck out of anybody else, but they wouldn't bite me. Like, it just, yeah, I'm just saying. All right, guys, I love you. Go get some fucking sleep. I will see y'all tomorrow. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Make sure you get on the list for that eclipse working, because I can't wait. I can't wait for that. All right. I'll see you tomorrow.